Yeah. So are you in New York right now, or
Yeah, I just got back to New York.
were you in Paris for like an extended time?
No, I didn't. Actually, I spent an additional 1 day in Paris and just looking for some nice archive, like seasons, inspiration, like some book. Like that was quite fun after the whole like showroom.
Nice. But as you know, I absolutely love your collection. But I just wanted to get to know more about you, and just like rewind a little bit. Before head golf, before your fashion career, like what did creativity look like when you were growing up? Like, were you the dressed really chic at PE? Like, just what were your creative roots?
Uh, since I was starting visual arts when I was in school, so it took me about 6 years kind of preparing for before I like it leads me to fashion. So I don't really have a fashion sense when I was still in high school. I kind of like when I turning 17, 18, I would kind of sense, I was like, cool, that might be a way to express how do I my understanding of like arts or personality through clothing. So that's the reason why I was like working on a portfolio and submitting to different like colleges worldwide. And that was, I think that was my beginning about my entry of fashion.
Were there any other creative influences growing up? Any artists? Doesn't even have to be like fashion designers.
I love watching Wes Anderson's movie. Those kind
Yeah.
of like colors, how was like coloring they like did, and what kind of storyline that we had to tell stories. That was quite fun. And like growing up and seeing all the Jill Saunders minimalist.
I know that your background is rooted like in high-end women's fashion. You're at Marc Jacobs, Narciso Rodriguez. So before stepping onto the course, how has that influenced the way you approached designing for head golf, for traditionally more conservative sport?
Yes, definitely. I will say like golf probably might be one of the most conservative sport, but actually like once I step into the world, when you do all the research related to all the functionalities and all the like fabrications, what do you think will be the current modern aesthetics of golf wear? It does change a lot of my mindset about seeing those sports. Actually, they have a lot room to play with. People now maybe do a lot knits, so that's what I take care of most of the knit, do my women's collection and men's collection as well. All different details of those kind of pocketing. For example, our men's pants and shorts have a specific like a T pocket for bots, easy to storage. And like there is a lot of room that we're able to push the boundary and letting people know. So actually, after years of years, actually there is a lot new thing that actually designers and can bring the creativity into the field. Just kind of letting people know step by step. I want to do something really like aggressive or really kind of like making people not feeling comfortable, at least making all the customer knows what you are doing, giving them a storyline and leading them to see what will be doing maybe 2 years ago and compared to 5 years after. So giving them a little bit more time to digest what actually you bring the field. I think that will be the way letting people more be open-minded to see how the sport will be turned into.
Exactly. And this, your debut collection, it really does feel, it's very style conscious. So I like gravitated towards it right away. It's not what I'm used to seeing in terms of like golf wear, but it's also like quietly rebellious, especially when I saw like the necklace, which I love. And so again, like dipping back into story because it is so refined, but as I said, has that rebellious streak. So digging a little deeper, what story were you trying to tell overall through your design?
So through my design, actually, I always want to taking people through like having a travel experiences. So that's something people won't be able to gain just like not that much, maybe not that much brand is trying to do the storyline based on the travel because our golfer they love to playing at different courses because like there will be significantly different change of the environment of at each courses. That's huge change. So that's the reason why it been so attractive to each golfers. So based on each course or different environment, for example, last season I did Arizona. So everything people will play in the desert, seeing all the cactus. So this season we're playing around pine trees. You will see different bunnies, you will see eagles. So animal change, landscape change. So that will be change the whole vibe and the environment, like giving you different perspective of seeing look overlooking a like landscape designer, seeing how does the course will be decided, will be the local heritage, will be bring it to you having a different experiences when you're getting to local and goes to different place having a visit locally. So that's what I always trying to bring, let people see not just about like course. A shoe has to be green. A lot of things is surrounded by golf that people might just keep ignoring them. A lot of people were like working at the course. A lot of people was contributing to the sport. They people might just not just seeing the athletes and actually seeing a lot of people are gathering together, having a community engagement and making this sport so different.
And it's interesting because you mentioned, for example, before the landscape, like Arizona, this time, like pine trees and stuff. So, was there a specific course or town you had in mind when you were designing this collection, like for that emotional connection?
I will do, I won't say they're the specific one
Huh.
since I will focusing those like I would say the straight state. So how does the state's overall the course will be looking like? So I mean there is a lot like phenomenon like golf course designer. So but I won't say one or a few, but last season we were looking at True North when I was designing the collection. That that's really stunning. So that's how they kind of actually also like be more open-minded to look at different landscape designer and kind of bring into what kind of thing will be fun from the course and turn into more visually and present through the collection and let different golfers see actually the way how do we look at the sport might be different. So that will be quite fun storyline to tell all my customer or all the audiences.
And then earlier you mentioned like the tea holder and the pockets, and
Yes.
I love that because like with this collection, it's very like it has those functional flourishes, the tea holder pocket, the silicone grip, the waistbands, um, but with like runway worthy tailoring, all those details. So was there a design moment where like fashion and performance finally clicked for you? How are you able to kind of fuse those together?
Yes, that's the most question I always got from everyone. It's about how do you make the perfect balance between the fabrication or the functionality or even through the design detail, then you balance the aesthetics that you want to turn like bring into the collection. So usually when I start doing the design, I start with developing the fabrics, working with the raw material team from the mills and figuring out what kind of fabric that we're leading to bring for this season and what kind of texture or functionality we're able to achieve through the structure or after finishing after like the finishing. So every time we start from the fabric and we're making sure every fabric is kind of briefing functionality, thermal regulation, having a UPS like 50 plus, and then based on all the functionality, kind of we developing the line and see through how can we use allocated different fabric and different categories that are able to fit in into each product. It has to be having come with the functionality. And so that's the
Mm.
reason why all our fabrics so unique. So that's the reason people usually get the like buy the product from us. They won't be able to get it somewhere else because we has a fabric specifically. So that's the reason why be based on all the super solid functionality uh that we have. And then I kind of bring all the different graphics, working with artists, and go through what kind of storyline that we having, adding all different fun accessory like crochets, animal crochets to the like whole lookbooks.
Definitely. Functionality, and then there's so much innovation, especially with the sustainability element. There's the bio dyes, recycled yarn. So for you, what did sustainability, like what does sustainable luxury mean to you in this context?
So for sustainability, for me, it's not just like a reuse. So definitely reuse is really important. So that's the reason why I work with Serona and Coolmax. So we upcycle and recycle everything. Even everything will be able, once after years, our people are putting into the soil, they might be able to dissolve it for sure. So they won't cause any like any trash or in the landfill. Additionally, when we're doing all the women's skirt design or dress design, we separate underlining and with all the skirts because most of the brand they sew them together, and that might not be the way that we are wanted to bring to our brands. Because when people having a, like for example the skirt or inner shorts having a damage, so people need to trash them the both, so that's definitely not the way that we want to see. So also we kind of seeing having a two pieces wearing definitely is fitting better to one pieces, but because people were trying to lower the landing cost overall, so that's the reason why people sew them together. So that's what we also encourage like all our customers, like you have to know what you're actually wearing and how functionality that our product can bring into you. And if you don't necessarily need to purchase such undershorts, you don't need to. And you also can wear our undershort to gym to do all the exercise that you want, not just limit to golf as well, since it's we will consider it's a whole sportswear category.
Mhm. And so also I was curious, when you look at your collection, the
Mhm.
whole thing, um, is there one piece or any pieces that kind of surprised you that you're the most proud of, where you're like, wow, there's no other way I would have designed this if it wasn't for this golf collection?
Yes, I think it will be the fading Fleet Skort. I'm not sure. Have you seen that one? It has those two pine trunk at the front and having a fading pleat. So I think if I'm not actually doing this for a specific design for it, I won't come up with the idea how having a skort and look like a skirt and having all those kind of pine tree trunk prints, working with artist Stephen King and deliver it, and kind of delivering on the like how to say 2D print on 3Ds like pleats. So quite looking quite differently when golfer wearing it on the course and when they move the volume of the skirt and bring into, and kind of having those kind of elegant moment and at those when people are playing golf.
And I do love a good skirt, so
Yeah.
especially one that's so elegantly made. So I might get that skirt. And then, um, so when I visited Golf Gallery Paris, where I met you and saw your collection, like I felt this pulse, like a new subculture around golf, a bit more diverse and open. I was wondering if you've also felt that shift, and do you see had golf as part of that new movement?
Well, I will say we're not trying to making a revolution. The our brand is trying to elevate it, like what kind of define the sport it actually
Yeah.
should be. And yes, I think that will be what HET is standing for. We're kind of making sharpening the gears and making something different, and people are might be ignoring in the field at this moment. I won't say we're starting a move.
You're elevating it, as you
Yeah,
said.
yes. So I think elevation is more important than just starting a revolution.
Mhm. Slowly. But
Yeah.
and I know like previously, you mentioned like you would love to see like someone like Zendaya in your looks. Is there
Yes.
anyone else who you think, whether they're an actor or a musician, like anyone else who you'd like to see wearing it on or off the course, who you think really embodies, what this particular collection stands for?
I think there is actually one women's golf player that we're really interesting. It's called Lily Mooney He. So she is playing PGA, LPGA as well. So she has a very good fashion sense. I will definitely are able to see our collection on her.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Um, she should check it out. In terms of the aesthetic of golf and its social identity, for you, I know you said this isn't a revolution, it's an elevation. It's like refined, but with your own injection, right?
Yes.
Of stylish flavor. So what for you, like what excites you about reshaping the golf image for you personally? What excites you about that for bringing in your own little stamp, fashion stamp?
I think will be the most something is definitely helping me to bring all the breathability and functionality to design fabrics, especially all the knitwear. I'm not really the person who's studying knitwear doing that at the college and like having a huge team of doing handling the knitwear for us. So I love to do all the different thing knitwears by myself and my team. Um, because it definitely changed the whole different texture and fit and giving a different vibe of when people are wearing it. So, I mean, that's definitely a big challenging for me when I consider functionality will be every season will be a new challenging for me to see how can I bring to the line and collection. I mean,
Yeah.
that was how I seeing it.
And then, so finally, um, my final question for you is, like any other creative, even a musician, they record, they go back, they listen to their album. Filmmaker, they finish, they watch the movie. You you put so much time into each design, and now it's been debuted. How do you feel when you look at your collection, at this one, what you've created? How do you feel about it? And yeah.
I think that will be actually unlocking my full step at making all the elevation to this sport. Um, I'm so glad to see a lot of buyers, a lot of women's golfers, and even male golfers are love all the product that I created and made for them. The first collection has been landed. All the feedback that I got from people overall, all the finishings, all the trim that I select, overall the construction of the garments is phenomenal. So I'm really appreciate and seeing the step by step that I'm pushing and elevate the sport that the way that we think it should be really worth it. And yeah,
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next too.
yeah.
But first I will get myself some squirts. But I wanted to say thank you for chatting with me today, about the collection. I really love it. And hopefully I'll see you out on the golf course.
Well.